Hello everyone, Chef Jitsu here. Welcome to or back to my channel, whichever the case may be, bringing you another session of I Play Games. Today we are bringing you the long-delayed War Thunder 1.37 update special. I was delayed for several reasons. Reason number one being that I was very sick when they released the update. Reason number two, my computer crashed. Reason number three, I also had to get some new video editing software, so it's taken me a little bit of time to get all that put together so I can start making videos once more. A reminder, or if you're new to the channel, just something to throw out there, I do not make money off of this. This is just a hobby of mine. Combines two of my hobbies, video editing and gameplay. So that's that. And let's move on to the nuts and bolts and guts of this update special. If you've played War Thunder, the first thing you're going to notice when you log in is the cosmetic update. The menu's different. New color scheme, they move things around. This all used to be on that side, type of thing. Other than that, it's all pretty much the same. No need to go into all that. You will notice here, research points. Of course, I got my Lions and my Gold Eagles. I do have an active premium account. So anyway, let's get into the major changes of the game. They added some planes. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure which planes are new. But the biggest change here is the tiering system. We went from 20 to 5. So what that does is that puts more planes into one group, which should lower queue times. It's supposed to be more historically accurate as well, as far as a plane from 1941 should not be facing off with a plane from 1943 to 45, that type of thing. Second big note is the progression system has changed. Now if I go into my plane here, you research each individual item, which I kind of like. Gives you that little personal touch of customization and which route you want to go. If you want firepower, you're more than welcome to research all that first. If you want to drop bombs and launch some rockets, if your plane is capable, you're more than welcome to research that and get that going. Me, I'm more of a performance guy, so I tend to upgrade all that first. Then now, you also have to research planes. This to me, I don't like. I don't like. When I was reading the patch notes and, the devs' little quip on the forum and whatnot, they were saying that you were supposed to be able to progress farther faster. I don't see that happening. No way. Before, once you had access to a tier, you had access to every plane in that tier for whichever country, because it used to be based on countries, and now it's just open tiering. So if I was tier 15 in America, I could buy any tier 15 plane as soon as I hit tier 15. That's no longer the case. As soon as I progressed from tier 3 to tier 4, I had to research my P-51. Once that was complete, then I switched my research over to the F-8, F-1. Then I'll probably go over here to the B-17, because that's something I've been wanting to try. And then from there, not really sure. But that's not the point. The point being, I have to research 3 or 4 of these planes before I can move on to the next tier. So that has slowed my progression immensely. But that's that. Let's get some gameplay footage and we'll continue, because that's really the nuts and bolts of the big changes, and then we'll just go on to some rants and raves and hopes and praise. Alright, so we got some gameplay footage going in the back. Let's talk about one of the biggest changes, and that's flight models. It feels to me like the basic flight model for everything was changed. Planes seemed a little bit slower, a little bit less responsive, which was fine for me because I use a really smooth play style. I don't use big jerky movements, so it didn't really bother me too much. A lot of players had a big issue with it at first. Other flight models were corrected and made more accurate, and some of the actual physical models were changed. Some damage was reset and that type of thing. They definitely added new planes. You can go to the dev diary there. I got a link on the bottom there. You can check that out for yourself for the actual change log for everything that was done, because I'm going to try and keep this kind of short. As we were talking about tiering before, that was one of the biggest changes, which is of course going to affect the matchmaker. Now, when Gaijin actually released 1.37, they didn't have this battle rating implemented yet, and we'll get into that in just a second. So my very first match, I was in my P-47 against, I can't remember what kind of jet, but yeah, against a jet. So I went from a tier 12, I think, plane, or somewhere in there, to a tier 20 plane in matchmaker. Like, that was just kind of crazy to me. They quickly fixed that by implementing what they called a battle rating. I'm not sure where they get these numbers, if it's performance or data collected by all the matches. But yeah, each plane has a battle rating, and now they tend to match planes closer to battle rating, which kind of defunks the whole let's keep things historical. You know, that's why we changed the tiering system, and it was supposed to fix all that. But inherently, there's just a balancing problem. In real life, Russia really didn't have a good air force until late in the game. They really did have biplanes going up against Messerschmitt 109s. Otherwise known as the BF-109 in War Thunder. It happened. That's the way it was. And, you know, players aren't going to settle for that. That's just ridiculous. So, keeping things historical while implementing the new tiering system and the new battle rating system and just trying to keep everybody happy really puts them in a tough spot. So, I really feel for them, you know. And I think, I feel like they've kind of handled it alright, you know. They need to communicate a little bit more maybe with their thoughts and intentions. But, you know, it's their game. They're going to do with it what they want, and all we can do is play it or not. So I just try not to let all those little things get to me. And to get a little further into the matchmaking now, they've added more AI, which is a good and a bad thing. More AI means quicker matches. But I've had a lot of matches, not so much recently, but especially when the patch was newer, where there were more AI than actual players on the map. Granted, it was kind of fun, because you kill 3 or 4 players, you know, and then you're farming AI and ground targets and all that, so you were able to actually farm and make some quick lions. But at the same time, they're AI. There's no challenge. There's no, like, I kill AI and I have fun killing AI, but it's just not that. I don't get that same feeling, you know. It's hard to ruin an AI's day. It's easy to ruin a player's day. Okay, and now with all these changes comes the change of approach you need to take. Because you're researching individual planes and parts to planes and whatnot, you really got to kind of plan ahead and, you know, do a little bit of research. You know, do I really want to put time and effort into unlocking this plane? And then you have to think, because I've already made the mistake of trying to unlock a plane, but needing to get through another tier, but forgetting I'd only had 3 planes when it requires 4 planes to move to the next tier, so that put me behind. So, yeah, just keep those kind of things in mind when you're progressing through the game, you know. You gotta kind of put a little thought into it, you know. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but you can end up wasting a little bit of your time and maybe just bypass something, or think you're so close to something and then realizing, dang, I have to grind a whole nother plane. You know, so keep all that in mind. But I really have come to like the new progression system. Other than the grinding for the planes seems a bit tedious. They definitely have dragged that out. I really wish they would boost the research points even more. They actually have in one of the previous updates. So, you know, but it is what it is, and they said it right from the start that these changes were made to make the game more profitable. Well, I can see where people are probably spending a little bit more money now researching individual planes rather than actually leveling up individual countries. Yeah, if you're newer to the game, you used to level up each individual country, and that's where you went from 1 to 20, and there were 20 tiers. So if you were a level 11 in America, you can use any tier from 1 to 11 without researching the planes. You had instant access to every plane. You know, all you had to do was buy it with the Lions. So it was a lot easier. For me, it feels to me like progression was faster then, when they said it was supposed to be faster now. But, you know, I guess in theory, I may be able to get a jet faster. If that's my ultimate goal, is to get a jet, I may be able to straight line some research and, you know, unlock it faster than getting to level 20. Because I had already put some good time in. I think I was level 14, I think, at the highest. So, yeah. Alright, now we got to kind of get into a little bit of the drama that happened and look at the direction that I feel the game may be heading and some of the warning signals that I've been kind of seeing. And I really feel that the implementation of ground forces, which have looked epic, by the way, if you get to see any of the closed beta footage, it looks really good. But I think a lot of these changes have come about because of the way that the ground forces are going to work. Definitely had a big impact on, especially the way the planes are researched. So, but anyway, now Gaijin has been pushing for mixed battles in realistic battles, formerly known as historical battles, for quite some time. You know, that would be every nation versus every nation. You know, no nation restrictions, just a mix of planes, go out there and fight it out. Now, they say that would be easier on the matchmaking, and you would have shorter queue times. Now, I'm okay waiting for the queue. I'm looking for a game that's more historically accurate and has that nation versus nation. I'm even okay with the alternate history, where you might have an American team going up against a Russian team. It's pushing it, but I'm okay with that, because it's still team-based, you know. I don't have a Focke-Wulf and a P-51 and a P-47 and a... what else? A Zero, you know, all on the same team. Different nations tend to favor different styles of flight and fighting, so it's nice to kind of know what you're going up against, and then from there it's a chess game. You know how your plane performs, you know how the enemy's plane performs. There's always these variables, and the chess game begins. Mixed battles is just a cluster of shells and planes, and I just don't enjoy it. To me, that's what arcade's for. Leave it in the arcade. Now, apparently, in the first few hours that .137 was launched, or 1.37 was launched, some of the very first realistic battles were mixed battles, and there was a huge uproar. The community backlashed, and within a few hours, Gaijin had fixed the problem that was apparently, you know, a glitch, a mistake. Now, to me, I think they were testing the waters. I definitely think that they were testing the waters. That's a warning signal to me. I think they're pushing for that historic or realistic battle or mixed battles, and that's why they've changed the name from historical battles to realistic battles. Now it's more of a difficulty level rather than a historical thing. You know, we can't go. Now we have no leg to stand on when we as a community say, well, you said it was historical battles, and, you know, why am I the Russians versus a U.S. team? You know, when we were allies, we flew together, not against each other. Now it's just, no, that's the flight model. It's more realistic. So, to me, that's a warning signal. They're setting themselves up for diplomacy, you know, giving themselves a gateway and kind of taking the rug out from underneath us for our basis of arguments. So, kind of keep an eye out for that type of thing. And again, I think it's because of the popularity of another free-to-play game that Ground Forces is trying to blow out of the water. And, you know, looking at the closed beta footage, to me, just looks amazing. And it's going to have no problem. It's the more realistic game that a lot of gamers are looking for. You know, damage models and difficulty level, and the graphics are just beautiful. The sounds are amazing. So, yeah. Anyway, that's not what this is about. But keep an eye out for that, because that's coming up soon. So, but yeah, those are the biggest changes in the game. For me, it's all been good, other than the grind time. But, you know, they need to make their money. So, if that's what they got to do it, then whatever. I'm willing to deal with what we've got so far. Okay, so I just want to reiterate that I waited a while to put this out because I watched a lot of other 1.37 update specials, and they were all kind of just flopping around, and no one knew what was going on, so I waited between that and all my technical difficulties. I thank you all for joining me. I hope to see you all again soon. Got more videos coming up. All the feedback's appreciated, so hit me up on those comments below. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you all want to see. And again, thank you. Chef Jitsu out.